Today we heard from the JP Morgan CFO Jen Piepszak, actually her first presentation since becoming CFO earlier this year, and she spoke about her optimism about the U.S. economy, particularly the U.S. consumer.
Sentiment had come off the peak, but we've now seen a rebound in consumer sentiment. And then on spending very strong. Holiday spend feels very consistent holiday to date with what the trends we've been seeing all year, which is up about 10% year on year. Importantly, though, if you look at Black Friday through Cyber Monday, year over year, we're up nearly 20% for Black Friday through Cyber Monday. Very consistent with what we're seeing broadly across the U.S. consumer, which is very strong. And then on the business side, I would say there are some cautionary signs, but things at the margin are improving, or at least have improved since the summer, and that includes CEO sentiment, I would say.
The main area of caution, she said, there was commercial real estate. Should mention that Wells Fargo and PNC were just as positive on the U.S. consumer. Citi is presenting at the moment. Back to JP Morgan and the earnings specifics. They reiterated guidance on net interest income for next year, 58 to 60 billion, despite moves in the yield curve. They also said that investment banking revenue for Q4 should be flat. Previously, people have thought it would be slightly lower, and that trading revenue should be meaningfully higher year over year. All three of those things, slight incremental positives to where expectations were. The stock, therefore, holding on to the gains, huge gains they've seen so far this quarter. Flat today, but up 14% since the start of Q4. Guys?
Wolf, it's like an early Christmas present for you. I mean, being at a banking conference, getting to really dig into the sector and these names even more aggressively today. What have been some of the big trends so far?
Yeah, it certainly is, and this conference comes every year at this time. It is always an early Christmas present, and it's very well attended, as you said, and tomorrow we've got a couple more interviews from the likes of Brian Moynihan, Kyu-Sung Lee, and coming up later on the show, both Howard Marks and John Waldron. In terms of the themes coming out of the conference, though, I've never seen a more stark tone of difference between U.S. consumer and U.S. corporate sentiment. And as you heard just there from the JP Morgan CFO, that's not because corporate sentiment has worsened since, say, the summer. If anything, it's fractionally improved or stayed flat. But the U.S. consumer sentiment has improved significantly. Wells Fargo, PNC, JP Morgan, all striking that tone. And it's definitely a optimistic one that despite some other challenges, maybe the yield curve or other things, they're able to reiterate their guidance for this quarter and next year. And as we said, the banks have performed very well over the last couple of months, and they're holding that ground today.